how to like combat resistance is to not combat resistance. Like you just don't combat it at all. You don't fight it. You just let go. I fought so hard. I resisted so much. And I felt like I was at the bottom of the sea with big old pieces of concrete just wrapped around my legs. And I was just trying to tug along and just bulldoze my way through this resistance. And that works only so long. Where you find resistance is where you need to go. That's what I'm starting to learn. Like when I feel resistance, I need to go in that direction. You know, I was writing down the other day and it just kind of came through me that in order to have resistance, you have to have something to resist. If there's nothing to resist, then you don't have resistance. And that is like a level of letting go that like I think I've been scared of. And the reason I've been scared of it is because I fear that if I let go of my dreams, they won't come to reality and I'll just be a failure. I fear failure, you know, I fear, you know, my actions that I'm taking not amounting to what I've been aspiring for so long, you know. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself to do A, B, C, or D, you know, just all these things. And a lot of it is very positive, self-improvement in any sort of way. I meditate a lot. But yeah, it's just like letting go of the expectations I have for myself, which are ginormous. Not meaning that I let go of doing that thing completely and just stop doing it, but I look at it from a different perspective. Like I do the running and I do the meditation and I do the journaling and I do the work because it makes me feel good. And so attaching a different perspective to these practices and these things that I try to do for myself, rather than I just need to do this. Because when you tell yourself I need to do this, it's just like, you know, especially me, I guess, telling myself to do something is like trying to control myself. And then it becomes this resistance because then I have something to resist. So I have to let go of that pressure. So letting go is really nice. I went to the Buddhist temple the other night. That was such an elevating experience. It always is every time I go to the Buddhist temple. And so I think I'm going to try to keep doing that because it feels good. And I spoke up during our group discussion, which I always have this fear of doing. Like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. But I did it, you know, and it felt good. And part of me too, and the reason I love making this video is because I feel like I like to speak about meaningful things. And I like other people to hear it. I like to plant seeds in people's mind, you know, even if I don't even know these people and I've never met them and I've never talked to them. But having my voice be something they heard, I know that the resonance is powerful enough to change their lives and carry on, even if they chose to do it themselves on their own accord, on their own accordance and their own free will. You know, I realized something last night. I was watching this movie that I've been meaning to watch for years. It's called Spirited Away. It's just like anime movies made by this Studio Ghibli. It's really nice. Yeah, that movie made me realize something that was, we help each other unlock ourselves, but we're not doing it for each other. We're just helping guide each other home. You know, as that saying, we're all just walking each other home. And I've always been like, well, I don't know. I mean, because for me, like, people have not been there for me as much as I would have liked. So it's always just been me walking myself on this path, the solitude and loneliness. I have to laugh at that serious aspect of myself. But anywho, in the movie, this little girl named Shakiro, and then this, I'm not going to spoil it completely, but this other boy named Haku, they help each other unlock a part of themselves. And then, but that was already there. That person already had the key. It was just we come into each other's lives to help unlock a part of ourselves, you know. And so that's kind of what I hope to do with this channel and these videos. And when I say these words that you connect with and you resonate with it, when you hear these things, I'm just gently putting my hand on your arm, and in your arm you have the key, and I'm just guiding your arm back to yourself and putting that key there in that lock. You know, if you can have that visual in your mind. I don't have the key, you have the key. The journey of life is always within us, and that's why, you know, when people criticize you or accuse you, or even when they give you praise, like, it has nothing to do with you. And I know that might sound weird, but it's a part of them that is boiling up to the surface because you inspired them, you know, or you pissed them off or triggered them. You know, it goes both ways. And that's another thing I want to, like, really just anchor in this channel, is that this is not about me being your savior, because you don't need a savior. You don't need someone to save you from your own hell. As someone that's pulling myself out of my own hell every day, I'm doing it. I mean, it's me, you know, and God's energy. I mean, it's spiritual, you know. Spiritual energy also helps me, but that's me too. And so that's where you have to find your will to live and your will to go on, to have the determination you need to seek and find whatever you're seeking, you know. But I've had people, you know, in my life that are there for certain seasons, certain chapters in my life, and that movie really helped me release an attachment I had to it, and also helped me kind of see it from a more positive perspective. You know, this person came into my life and they helped me unlock a part of myself that I had, you know, sealed away, basically. And I'm so grateful for that. If you have people like that in your life, even if they're there temporary, like, feel and show gratitude. You don't have to say nothing, just feel it, you know. I have a lot of things coming up for this channel. I'm just trying to find the time to make it, and to fucking get over my own self, get out of my own way. This fucking resistance. It's like, I'll sit up, I'll get up in the morning, I'll meditate, do my things, eat breakfast. I'm like, yes, all right, I'm in good flow state. And then I sit down to do the work, and it's just like, my mind immediately is like, no, we don't want to do this. Let's think about other bullshit. You know what I mean? And I love to just Google things. I'll sit there and Google things for hours. And I waste a lot of time because I'm like overloading my nervous system with all this information that I can't utilize in the moment. So it's not really even practical. You know, something I do. It's a toxic thing I do. I'm trying to repattern this into a healthier version. I think what's helping though the most, like, meditation obviously helps big time because it helps me focus. But even sometimes, like, I'll get up and meditate, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go in there and work, and then I don't work, or I don't do what I say I was gonna do, and I get distracted by something else. You know, meditation is not gonna fix my life or anybody's life, but it's a great coping strategy. It's very healthy, and it does help on the long term, you know, with your ability to grit your teeth and get down to business. But yeah, I guess really just finding how to, like, combat resistance is to not combat resistance. Like, you just don't combat it at all. You don't fight it. You just let go. And that is such a hard thing for stubborn people to realize. And I'm talking about myself. It's like, I mean, letting go is not that hard, but it seems hard. And it seems hard because we get obsessed and very fixated on these ideas. We get very attached to them, you know. Like, I get very obsessed and fixated on, like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do my work. And I sit down and I'm like, ugh, why do I feel tired? It's like, oh man. And then you just get frustrated with yourself. You're just like, fuck this. You know what I mean? You're like, oh man, get out of your own way, man. So that's kind of my journey right now. I'm like fighting myself and also trying to love myself and find peace with myself and let go of all the expectations I have while simultaneously doing the things I want to do, but not doing them out of, necessity, but doing them because, I'm finding an enjoyment in it. It's like that saying by Alan Watts. He says,
See, this is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you're doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize that this is play.
Making your work play, like don't look at the things that you have to work on as work, but look at them as play, as experimentation, as this, because oftentimes, especially in Western culture, we're raised to expect results from other people and ourselves. And that's great because you definitely have to achieve things in life, and you have to persevere, and you have to push past your own obstacles. But if you're anyone like me, your obstacle is yourself. And I think that's probably 99.99% of people. And yeah, that's something I definitely want to go more into detail on this channel, because obstacles are a son of a bitch. But like where you find resistance is where you need to go. That's what I'm starting to learn. Like when I feel resistance, I need to go in that direction. And I'm not by any means perfect at this process. And I definitely have to have grace with myself. That's why I say, when you're playing, you're not really expecting perfection as much as you're just allowing things to develop naturally, organically, intuitively. And what happens often is not exactly what we envisioned, but even better almost, if you allow it. Like when you're trying to create something. I fought so hard. I resisted so much. And I felt like I was at the bottom of the sea with big old pieces of concrete just wrapped around my legs, And I was just trying to tug along and just bulldoze my way through this resistance. And that works only so long, then you burn out, and then you're like, oh fuck, this is not sustainable. I can't sustain myself this way, not healthily. I mean, unless you want to just be completely toxic to yourself. But yeah, this channel is about to blow up, and you're about to see a lot of info from me. And if you're a viewer and you know the stuff that I'm talking about, that's great, But I find that's what's happening in this world is a lot of confusion and spiritual delusion. And I think that it would probably be helpful to just get back to the basics and explain it to people from a very simple point of view, Because often when you get into certain topics, such as spirituality, things become very confusing very fast. And you can easily buy into spiritual delusion because other people do it. It's all over the place. And if there's anything that the last few years have taught me, it's to have discernment. That is something I would say is a skill I've developed over my life. It's a meat grinder. Discernment is a meat grinder because sometimes when you discern, you shatter the fantasy you had, and then you're like, damn, and then you have to let go of it. So it is a meat grinder because you don't get to live in Disney World, okay? And we don't live in Disney World. We live on Earth, And it's, in my opinion, a hell of a lot better than fucking Disney World because it's real and it has substance, It's made of something. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling at this point, to be honest. I just figured I should just make a video because it's been a long time and I've been getting in my own way a lot. Like, should I make this video? My biggest thing, I think, is like very perfectionistic about the setting that I'm making videos in. You know what I mean? And like the timing and like how I feel in the moment and all this bullshit. But I think I'm gonna stop trying to do everything perfectly, and you're gonna get a lot more raw footage from me. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Let me know down in the comments if you heard anything that resonated, and I'll see you then.